You should be on. I don't know why I didn't get a notification. Hey guys.
I got a watch party, but I didn't get a
maybe you're, because they asked me to turn on notifications and I'm like, it's my page, I should have notifications on. Hi guys, we're just sussing out some details with our guest tonight, technologically wise, and she's back. So I just wanted to hop in and make sure everybody knew that we are getting started soon-ish. How are you sounding now? Cynthia? Check 1 2.
She's giving us the one moment.
She's giving the. I'll say she's giving the finger.
I'm making you wait dramatically.
What's that?
She's giving us a dramatic pause.
Mm.
Yeah. There. How's that? Yes.
That's good.
I hear you.
First? Okay,
you hear us?
Hearing me is awesome. I hear you great.
So, all right, it's good. It's good. I think we got this. I'll do this. Got the extra stuff off the screen. Let's do a show. We'll do that. Nope, that's not right.
So am I nuts? Like I cannot find where to find.
Like their video right now?
Our video.
Are you just on, like, are you on the new setup for AwesomeCast or anything?
Yeah, I'm on the dark mode and the new UI.
Oh, I'm not in dark mode. I figured that was too. I should do that I should do that just to know I'm in the new UI. Well, if you go to the page, because remember I pinned the group, so it's under that.
If I go to groups, I would have thought it would have just shown up.
It doesn't always go to groups, but I'll drop it in there now.
You don't have to.
I mean, I
actually
I should be, but so okay. Ready?
I'll figure it out.
It is no, not Wrestling Mayhem show. Son of doing fine. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast episode 504. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I didn't hit record on anything. Jeez.
Oh, man.
Not all the things. Not all the things. That's
fix it in post.
Jeez.
Can you fix it in post if you don't record?
I could. No, I can't. And I just did that with somebody today. Well, I had a backup that I could edit from today from something yesterday because I was a bonehead and forgot to hit a button yesterday. Put this here. All right, everything's recording this time. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast, episode 504. I am Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios compound in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ready to get geeky with everybody. Katie is on assignment, or at least she's missing. Lost to sea in Animal Crossing. Last seen diving for pearls. But we do have her represented in t-shirt form here, if you guys are on the video, in the Cancer Sucks Air Bike Derby shirt that's been getting sent out this week to donors for helping her out with her breast cancer situation there. So, and also I'm going to give props out because the two gentlemen on this, friends of the Sorgatron Media, PB Smooth and Derek Direction, from Erie and Cleveland, respectively, a couple of our pro wrestling friends. They are doing an air bike derby based on the over $4,000, I think it was, that was raised to help Katie with her hospital bills. That will be this Thursday night. I believe they're going to be doing it on Instagram Live. So the idea was they have to do so much time on an air bike for the donations. I think they only expected about $500. So we're going to see what's going to happen with them. So they're relatively fit. I mean, they're wrestlers. So they'll both do better than I would on an air bike for like 5 seconds. So, but we have with us tonight, first of all, from Studio C in the Big D is John Chilla.
How's it going?
Hey,
Sorry,
man.
I had to take a week of hiatus.
That's fine. Things happen.
I cannot confirm nor deny what I was doing or where I was at.
What were you taken away in a van? What happened?
It's classified.
It's classified. No, good to have you back with us here after the week off. It's the middle of summer. We usually lose people to, well, usually traveling, but nobody's going anywhere. So
I can't use that excuse.
No, nobody. It was like, well, I'm going to go on vacation. No, you're not. No, you're not right now, probably. So, also with us, back on the show. It has been a while. Cynthia Closkey, one of the bigwigs over there at Shift Collaboratives, joining us on the line too. How you doing?
Cheers, doing grand here. A little bit warm. It's been warm, but that's okay. We're getting by.
Awesome. We are getting a little bit of delay with Cynthia tonight, but that's fine. We can roll with it. We're just going to give her a little time to breathe. So in between things. So we'll make sure to get out of the way. How you been doing over there? So you guys have certainly adjusted, I'm sure, to everything going on. Not that you were a lot of people, I think, in office from what I recall being in there. Have you adjusted well to the work from home situation?
Sure did. Back in March, we had already decided to start working from home before we were forced to work from home. And we already had a thing of working from home 1 day a week. So it wasn't too much harder to make it 5 days a week. And actually we're doing surprisingly well, knock on wood. Our clients have been very busy. We've had some new things come in. We're actually hiring. If people are interested in taking a look at any of those roles, they're on our website, or I can send you more info if you catch me online. But yeah, we're feeling blessed, as they say. All's good.
Excellent. You can check out everything at shiftcollaborative.com. I was showing there a little bit for you guys on the video side of things too. Speaking of which, guys, please go check out everything on awesomecast.com. You can subscribe to the show on all of your podcast sources as well as YouTube and Facebook. Please hit us up on the email address awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com. AwesomeCast on the Twitter, and most importantly, the biggest activity, of course, over at the AwesomeCast Facebook group, where we share a lot of the stories throughout the week, and you guys too, and contribute to the show. We really do appreciate that. And of course, you're following us on Facebook Live or any of the other social media, Twitter, YouTube, and the Sorgatron Media Twitch page. We are live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. across all those platforms. Most of the people hanging out in the Facebook stream, but or the watch parties coming from that. But of course, if you're not a Facebooker, and I completely understand why you wouldn't be these days, or you want to throw it on your Chromecast or whatever the case, we are on all the formats, so you guys can get to it as easy as possible for all of our fans on Tuesday nights. And of course, thank you to our audio partners, our friends at the 405media.com that have been carrying the show and streaming it, I believe still at noon Eastern time, 5 days a week. And over at postindustrial.com, Post Industrial Audio, of course, sharing a lot of great stuff around Pittsburgh podcasting, and of course doing a lot of great coverage over the last several months about all the crazy stuff going on. So please go check them out. Follow a great source of content, great reliable source of content, which is very important these days. So please go give them a lot of props over there. Also, thank you to our partners, our friends. Yes, they are our partners as well at patreon.com, and our friends too, actually. Our friends at the Coffee Club level, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and John Carmen, and our friends at the Fan of the Show level, Michael Fedor, pghmuseums.org, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Podner. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting the show there and being a part of that. And especially, I mean, it's become even stronger. We've seen this across both shows that use Patreon, that the support has even grown over all this crazy time during the pandemic and everything when other things are kind of going away. So we do really appreciate the support through all of this. And again, you guys can support the show if you like what's going on at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. And Cynthia, I want to go with you because this is something that I had earmarked for last week and didn't get to. And I just love the name to begin with. Can you tell me a little bit about mmHmm?
I sure can. Well, I can tell you maybe as much as you can tell. That this is a way to, within all of the stuff that we're doing, the Google Meets and Zooms, and I think it's in a couple of the others as well, you can basically make your own little Saturday Night Live, weekend update. Basically, you still have you're doing your regular Zoom meeting, whatever it might be, and then you can put a whole thing, like in this situation here, where you can show a slideshow, basically. And they seem to have their own proprietary kind of thing there, which seems like it's got some features coming in. But you can then make it fill the screen, and then you can be tiny. You can put yourself down here and do like a, what is that show? The one with the movies where the little robots.
Oh, like Mystery Science Theater kind of thing.
Exactly so. It's Mystery Science Theater. And so you have to sign up for this thing. They're in sort of what they're calling beta, or sounds to me kind of pre-beta, or they're being in the ultra stretched out beta. But it looks awesome, and I really can't wait. So of course I put my name in, hoping to get into it soon. But the name now, as a marketing person, they name it's mmHmm. And so the guy says, well, we wanted a name that you can say with your mouth full. And I just want to say, this is not a branding requirement I've run into before, but I respect that they've read that it needs to be in there, and it's certainly memorable. Well, it feels memorable at the moment, I guess. If everybody starts doing brand names that everybody can mumble, maybe that's the new thing, like taking out vowels from the ERs of names. Who knows what the future of it is? But anyway, this thing, can't wait to get it. It looks really cool. They've got a fun video where they show, when I say fun, I mean, how fun is a Zoom video, other than this one, obviously. But it should be good. It's a really interesting idea.
So I heard about it because the guy in the video actually was a guest on Twit 2 weekends ago. So that's how and it was, of course, I'm listening to the audio version, so I have no idea what the thing looks like, but they were describing it and everything, and I looked quickly at that video and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I think there's Zoom specifically, but I am noticing on the sign up it is asking for what conferencing platform I use. So if you watch
the video, they say that they'll work on Zoom, Google Meets, and then something else as well. There's at least 3 that they say they can work with. So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So because I
assume they're just capturing your video and running it through their thing and then feeding it to the tool. Like they're just kind of hopping their own little self in between.
That is interesting. Yeah, because is it something that's local that's handling it and you're feeding into Zoom sitting there, or you calling in through them, kind of like how we do our Restream kind of thing to get to all these other, like before we get to Twitter, we go through another software, right? So where does that happen?
I feel like they're gonna be like a virtual Boink switcher sitting on their cloud, joining on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I thought was
they have.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
The one thing I thought was super interesting is when you sign up for the beta, it's, are you running a version of Mac, or notify me when Windows is available? So their target, they definitely have a target audience.
That's a great point.
So
I like the feature they have in there of like you and another person presenting, where you're both able to control your slides. You're both able to kind of be in each other's way a little bit. I wonder how that's going to work with all the lags and things like I guess sometimes you run into here on these meetings. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And I'm worried about how people will misuse this in some way, form, or another. I think we've all seen the bad go-to-meeting situations, right? So, and really, I feel like that's what this is aimed at. Like, I feel like this is the, I want to maybe not just like presenting like we do here or Twitter or something to like a video show kind of situation, but I think this could be like, here's the slide over my shoulder to show you. So I'm just not a distant voice over a slideshow situation, which just always seems unnerving to me, a little bit. And it could just liven those things up. Does it get a corporate adoption? I'm not sure with a name like mmHmm. So we'll see where it goes from there. But who knows right now? I mean, that Zoom has become so prominent in these last couple of months. It's kind of been incredible, right?
So what I'm interested in seeing is what the shift is. Because I think there's going to be a certain segment of Zoom fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also interested in how Zoom bridged the gap of I need to see people and I need to share my screen in a very simplistic manner.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think that it creates, and I think you may have something in the show notes later for some further on the topic, but they still don't replace the conference room. The whiteboard, some of the other feature functionality that I get out of physically being in the conference room, and I don't think anyone has cracked that nut yet.
Not even like Microsoft Teams or something hasn't done that?
Teams has whiteboard and it's pretty good. If you're in the enterprise, I think it does even better. Where I think we still haven't bridged the gap is how do I create, and people like us are better at figuring this out, but how do you create the digital bump into someone in the coffee room or
right
walking down the hall or in the elevator? There's no natural.
That's hard to do.
We're good at Twitter, right? And we're good and other social networks to virtually bump into someone or look at something someone's responding to and say, hey, I want to follow them too.
Yeah.
And then kind of work ourselves into that conversation. I would not say that's the average information worker or non-information worker. And that's where I think we need to get the work stream collaboration. To me, it's one step beyond your typical just audio, video, screen share communication. How do we really get to that? It's like we're in the same room working on something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no Slack.
Can I ask, have you guys checked out mural.io? Because it addresses it definitely doesn't do the sort of the water cooler, coffee, standing around the coffee, chatting, getting to know each other thing. But I think for like groups of people working together, and I haven't had a chance to play with all the Teams things on Microsoft, but Mural.io allows you to kind of, if you're setting up like a brainstorm, you can set something up, people can work on it. People who don't know a lot can get into it pretty easy.
Is it .io or
initial learning curve is slow.
Is it .io or .co?
I thought it was .io. Let me just double check.
So I'm finding one under a .co. It says put your.
.co. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay, no problem. Just want to clarify we're on the same page. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I should have looked it up. Yeah. No, it's cool. So like if you show the screen on that, you can see that you see the people dragging the stuff around. Like as you know, like consultants like me, like we spend all our times with sticky notes brainstorming. So this, obviously naturally would gravitate to it, but you can also do some very clever, smart diagramming type things. And like a client of ours coming in with no knowledge can participate right away in the way that you would with like your Sharpies and your stickies on the spot. So as far as like everybody working together and sharing a whiteboard, it's the closest whiteboard experience I've had so far. It doesn't help the sort of group situation and the company culture piece. That's a different thing, and I don't have solutions for that. But I really like this, and if you haven't tried it, I would suggest you check it out.
I highly suggest Mural. I really like it. They have the ability to do templates. So if you want to build a template and reuse it, you can kind of upvote on areas or objects that you've kind of put on there. So if you want to kind of do sticky notes for ideas, it has sticky notes built in, or you want to kind of draw out your idea and then someone goes out and draws out another idea and another idea, you can upvote or kind of thumbs up and vote on those items. Miro is another one, M-I-R-O, that comes close to Mural, probably not as advanced as Mural. Mural does have integration with Teams. So if you're a Teams company, and I think they also integrate with Slack and a couple others, so you can plug those into your persistent chat tool of choice. The closest Microsoft comes is Whiteboard, and Whiteboard is trying to catch up, but they're definitely Mural. This is the one thing they do, and they do it extremely well. And I was very impressed with a lot of their capability. I can't remember. It's something ridiculous. Like using Mural is like having a 20-foot tall by 90-foot wide whiteboard. It's something ridiculously large that you would never get into a conference room.
That was really one of the things we appreciated about it, was just the sheer size of the space and the fact that it gives you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can get a really good strategic view, and then you can zoom way in and do things. You can see who's doing what. It's a really slick interface. Very cool.
Are you using it? Because one of the bridges that I'm trying to get, or gaps that I'm trying to bridge as well, is not everyone has a touchscreen device. Do you guys find it just as easy to use keyboard and mouse, or are you guys using some kind of touchscreen along with it? How's that working?
I think most of the people on my team, there's a couple folks that have a touchscreen. I don't know if they're using it with this. I myself just use my Apple touchpad, which is, I'm kind of clunky on, but
they have an iOS app. I think they have an Android app. They have, for those types of devices, they support any web browser, and there's apps in the different app stores. So, but I was interested to see how others were faring with non-touchscreen type devices.
So far, so good. We had our summer intern build like a presentation with it. We've had a lot of fun.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, while we're along that line, Chilla, what is your awesome thing of the week?
So while it's hot outside, I decided, hey, why not go outside and do stuff out there? And much like the home automation that I have put in the house, I thought, how can I bring that outside the house? Full disclaimer, I was already a Ring customer from a doorbell perspective, and recently wanting to get off of the high price of my monthly security subscription. We also moved to Ring for that. I think I'm sure I told the TV story back around the holidays, and my experience with the Ring doorbell. So I decided,
and just a flashback for anybody new. There was a television theft around the holidays. Please go check out. I believe we did do a special edition around the Christmas week that you can go back and watch, and he goes through the whole ordeal of somebody taking the TV and then returning it later, and we got him on video doing so within hours because of all the technology and social involved in his neighborhood. But great story. But anyway, sorry.
Thanks. No, that's good. So I started looking at, hey, how can I tie it kind of all together, and whose product should I buy? The typical, do I find something that integrates with Alexa, or try to find Google or HomeKit, or all of them, or how does this all work? So I said, you know what? I'm already a Ring customer. It wasn't that far off from some of the tech, because I wasn't doing any more video cameras, but I wanted something that would automate lighting. So I started with the path lights, which I was surprised are battery operated, 3 or 4 D-cell batteries, and they came with their little home hub connector kit. And I was off to the races with motion detection and pathway lighting. I got a two-pack for a reasonable price. And then I thought, oh, I really like these. What if I replace one of my spotlights with the D-cell spotlight that will also be motion lit? And then I thought, well, if these can all detect motion, and I put in low voltage lighting in my backyard, I can buy their transformer. And then to seal the deal, it was, okay, I can do all of this cool light automation with the spotlight coming up my back steps from my garage. And it can trigger and do a bunch of stuff. And I can trigger, if you come into the front of the house and hit the front pathway lights, then I can automatically flip on and start the doorbell recording if it doesn't pick up motion to begin with. All kinds of cool stuff. So then I thought, the only thing I'm missing is when I go out my back door and I start down the steps, I want my entire back patio to light up now. So I bought a step light that is solar powered. So it just recharges the light. It picks up the motion. The cool thing too is then when I step out of the back porch and I'm leaving at night, it lights up my steps, the back patio, and the spotlight going down to the garage. And if I'm walking out of the garage and up the steps, when I trip the sensor on the spotlight going up the steps, it then lights up my back patio and the step light up the back step. So I've completely automated my outdoor lighting based on the first step you take on the property then determines, or towards going off the property. All kinds of things are set into motion.
That is a new level in Chilla's House of the Future, which is now Chilla's Yard of the Future, apparently.
Yes.
So
they all tie together.
I'm just happy to have a couple. Listen, I'm still in, because I don't have I don't have a coherent voice assistant in my house. Depending on which room I'm in, it's A or G. So I keep yelling at the wrong one. I'm like my mom with her children's names. But I'm like, why is this light not going off? Because I'm yelling the wrong name. Oh geez, so I'm looking at the site while you're talking about it. I didn't know Ring really stepped up a lot of hardware.
Yeah, I don't know if they bought. It caught me off guard too, because it all started when I was frustrated for the third time I was going to have to replace some solar lighting. And I'm all for the energy efficiency, and I was like, you know what? At least for this small segment, I'm going to do some low voltage. And then I got into this can be. I can solar power part of it. I can rechargeable battery part of it. And I'm happy with the rechargeable battery that I have run into the doorbell. So I figured it's just lighting up a light. It can't be any worse. So no, I don't know if they acquired someone where if they just saw this and went after it.
There's been such a list.
Kudos
right?
to them.
So. All right. Well, my awesome thing is.
You know what
go ahead.
Can I just add one thought? So I have two thoughts. One is I admire that all these designs that I see on their page, they are shielded to the sky, so that it's going to reduce light pollution. And which is an important thing. I think we scatter so much light up to the sky. There's all kinds of pollution we have, but that in particular, makes it hard to do things like watch the comet right now, or all those kind of things. So that's very cool. But my real question to you is, how many times have like the rabbits and squirrels and chipmunks of your yard lit up your yard in the course of a single night?
I think because of where I placed the sensors, so chipmunks, rabbits, etc., do not go up and down the back steps because it's like a small alleyway between two garages set of steps. And the other motion sensor they're at the tops of steps primarily. They'll catch your motion as you approach the set of steps, but by being on the top, you walk up and start to, as soon as you hit the bottom step, you're detected. But it's high, those steps that top step is high enough that it's not picking up. I haven't had, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a deer come through yet. But other than that, I would be surprised. We do have a groundhog that likes to climb the steps from time to time, but I think it'd be low enough to the ground, even on the back steps, it probably wouldn't get picked up.
It's like when you have
What
sensors.
I want to know then is,
Good.
I was going to say, like how Tom Cruise or Ethan Hunt is going to get into your house. He's going to find a way. Some guy
Yes.
is going to have his own route.
He'll rappel down from the roof.
That's what it is.
That's awesome. It's kind of like when you're putting the Guardian sensors in my house, and it's like, okay, what is the cat not going to trip, kind of thing. So, well, my awesome thing of the week involves Superman building a computer. So it was dropped on a day when there was like nothing but bad news on Twitter going on, like, I don't know, last Thursday or Friday or something, and then all of a sudden, like, top trending is Henry Cavill built just a 5-minute video more or less of just him building his computer. And I guess I don't know where he was probably on some geeky show or something, and they were talking about like does he game or anything. He says he wants to try to build a computer. He did it. The entire time he's fussing with this, I'm presuming it is a water cool kind of situation, and it's just like hanging out as he's trying to figure things out, and you watch the sun go down out the window as he's going, so you can tell he's been at this for a good long time. It's a lot of fun. He definitely set up like a Logitech camera, and he was wearing a GoPro at one point when he's really tinkering with putting the CPU in, which Chilla, you've built some computers. Cynthia, you've built some computers too in your day, right?
Oh yeah.
I've assembled a couple boards, but I can't be said to have done anything remotely like this.
Okay, so there was a sensor that gives your CPU GPU temperature, and he got it booted up, and it was upside down. It's the water cooling thing that's attached to the chip, right? Like that goes on like the heatsink kind of situation. So he had to re-putty his CPU. And I'm just like, oh man, that's dedication right there. So just because it was upside down apparently. So go check that out. It's just look up Henry Cavill PC build and you'll find it, and it's pretty great. Actually, here it is coming up in the video here, and there's like a WTF in there. There's a point where he like the video stopped because he literally ran out of hard drive space because he's obviously using the Logitech camera to capture a lot of the video. So that's just set up in the corner. So yeah, hold up, what the F was that? And then it rolls right into that. Hold on, it's going to show that in a second for you guys on video. There it is. There's an upside down 20. So go check that out. That was a nice little break for the week and a lot of crazy stuff going on. All right, guys, go check out also our good friends here in the Pittsburgh area supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. It was nice to go visit them this week. Now I'm off quarantine. Slice on Broadway and Beachview, Carnegie East End, PNC Park. I understand there's some baseball there. I don't think you can visit the baseball, but I think you can still visit Slice on Broadway. So our good friends there supporting, again, us for a good long time, the majority of our 10 years of the AwesomeCast, and I really look forward to a day where I can share the pizza with people. We actually did have a guest on mmHmm show 2 weeks ago, so but looking forward to sharing the pizza goodness with you guys in the future. It's been feeding a lot of our guests that come in here. Chilla, I know you miss it. I know you miss coming in here and doing that. So we're going to have to do another round of pizza deliveries again at some point here. So, but go check out our friends slicesonbroadway.com for supporting us, and please support them too. So we got a lot more stories in here. We'll see what we can touch on with the time left here. Oh, the dog is waking up, if you hear that in the background. This is a little bit of a local look too. Chilla, I know you are a tier, a public transportationist. Is that that's our word now.
When I was publicly transporting, yes.
Yes, when you're publicly transporting, you haven't had to do any house calls to the big bank or anything like that, have you?
No, in fact, we're kind of urged. We have to have a reason if we need to.
Yeah, have to have a pretty good reason. Yeah. So apparently, according to Next Pittsburgh, they're working on. There's a room to ride. It's going to. It is. They're rolling this out for riders, and it's going to let you know how many people are on the bus. They've apparently limited the bus to about 10 people, so you can properly social distance, but it'll give you an idea of the average and everything on rides, so you can kind of plan accordingly to it. So it's over on Port Authority. Look for a room for a ride over there, and you can go in and look up your listing, and it gives you a good average of how many riders are on at any given time. And what the capacity is and everything like that, what the type of bus is. So if you are looking to safely avoid and I wonder if some of these are 15 rider capacities, some of these are 10 rider capacities. I don't know what the T is doing for their sizes and everything, but man, that's how many people were usually packed on a bus beforehand. Like it had to have been like 30 people, right?
Oh, I mean, even if you think of like the double buses, like with the accordion, and if you were going from the city to Oakland on like any of those 61 and 71s, I mean, you were jam packed. It would be like riding the T when a baseball game lets out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or the Steelers let out on a Sunday.
Yeah, it feels like feels like there's like 50 people in a car.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I totally could have used this back in the day when I was riding the bus, more. And even without a pandemic, I would like to know.
And I don't know if this was something.
I
don't know if this is something that was already in the works. That they maybe stepped up or something like that. But
I'm wondering, and this is take it with this is third hand information. I know some people that have to go in to their place of work, and they have actually switched to driving because they felt uncomfortable on the bus.
Oh yeah, and I can believe that.
And the train.
Thankfully, I think driving into work probably is still not at capacity, right? For going to downtown. I haven't been out during rush hour to see what any of it looks like, but
no, I think the gripe that I've been hearing from the people that I know that have to go in, the gripe I've been hearing is for a long time the parking was free and now it's not. But because we're nowhere near capacity, they're just parking further away where there's like off-street parking, or it's non-metered up in the Hill District, or Shenley Park, etc. And then just walking further into their places of work.
Makes sense. Well, some good adjustments there. Cynthia, we talked last week about TikTok and the potential of it could be banned because of all this China situation. But you're bringing us an alternative this week.
I am. Do you remember Vine?
Do I?
So this apparently is like the second coming of Vine. I had trouble pasting in the link to the article, but this seems like it's in some way a successor of it. I don't know if there's any code base that's similar or it's just acquired, but I remember toying around with Byte, or more importantly, showing it to my niece, who was, I think, in single digits at that age, and her just going nuts with it. I have so many little vines of my cats. So I guess they're coming back, and so Byte, BYTE, is this new thing somewhere out of the ashes of Vine that is offering itself as an alternative to TikTok. Seeing like huge increases in signups, some ridiculous number says here, like last week, Vine had 622,000 global downloads in a single day, which it's fierce. They're doing some things to adjust to be more like a TikTok. So their video length is 6 seconds, and they've extended it to 8. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I feel like I'm an old in this world. Like, am I allowed even on it? I don't know. But I'm really intrigued by the creativity of them. And if my mind can work fast enough, I feel like it's a thing you have to practice,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or just kind of learn the lingo.
And I am operating it a little bit. Because I think we talked about it when it was first announced a few months ago, perhaps. You know, it definitely caught our interest that it was like somebody beyond. Like, it was one of the original founders of Vine, right? So. But yeah, it does behave, at least in the viewing, just like TikTok with the scroll up and everything. And honestly, I actually started digging into TikTok a little bit more and throwing our indiewrestling.us as an account over there. And then I'm like, I can at least throw highlight videos, I guess, up there. I mean, at the very least, I guess, and we'll kind of figure it out as we go. But I think the big thing that's going to push this is it's not TikTok. It's not as whatever the discussions are going to be. Oh, I already follow some people on here. Or also, hey, Chilla, you already follow me on here. This is probably everybody was listening to AwesomeCast that day. So, but no, the whole discussion about China and people worrying about that I think that's going to be nothing but helpful for if Byte can get in front of this and become like the Zoom of the post TikTok we're afraid of it era, right?
Although I thought we were afraid of Zoom. Maybe I don't know the latest news, but aren't we all afraid that Zoom is not secure? I
think we were afraid of it for like a week, and then they upgraded to security and broke out a lot of our webcams or something. This is why I've been using Google Meet, because I know what I'm getting into with Google Meet at this point. So, and I didn't know
Google could break it at any minute anyway.
Yeah, I just had to
or deprecate it.
We could be equally afraid of all of them, I think, if we really, really tried and maybe knew a little bit more. So it's almost like, what are we blinding ourselves to in any situation?
Yeah, there's that. Everything kind of rolls together with that, doesn't it? But anyways, seeing where we're at.
But to be creative on any of these, TikTok, Vine, whatever. Like, I understand. I know you guys are familiar with Sarah Cooper, the woman who does the really amazing mimes of our president. And so like it takes her 4 hours, I guess, to do a video, like with the memorization, the creativity, the figuring it out and all those things, like 4 hours to do one tiny little segment of video. And yet I feel like it doesn't matter what app it is to do that. That's the real work of it. And then the security things and so on are your next thing. But to be clever, you need to get in there, you need to have a smart idea, and you need to be at it. You know, you've got to stay in the game to play the game, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm really interested in all of the different platforms. I don't think any one of them has a leg up on each other yet.
No, absolutely not. And it depends on what you're doing and what that audience is, right? That you want to reach out to. So, I mean, you know, being on there just to be on there is one thing, but then I've also seen one of my friends that's in both wrestling and the news media. He hopped on there and he just went bonkers with it. he's doing lip syncs and everything, but he's a personality, you know, and he knows to hit that, you know, hard. And it's not even his wrestling or his news personality. It's this whole other personality of his side of him that he could glom onto. And I'm seeing ridiculous numbers. And other people I think are just as talented, just nothing. You know, just showing their wrestling clips, and that's kind of it. So it's really interesting it's a new code to crack on top of everything else. So
that's right. I enjoy watching the Planet Money TikTok. So that's a podcast out of NPR, but their TikTok, I think they have one young guy. He seems like a younger person who just has like a real style that he's come up with, and they're mixing in a couple different styles, but they've got animation, they've got things that are just weird video, but they're explaining economic concepts, and they're like really hard ones too. But they're also things that kind of, you know, we're confronted with now, like what does defund the police mean, and trying to do it in a way that from an economics perspective, as opposed to any of the other lenses you could look at that, or well, any of these things, like really complicated economic concepts, really, really very cool stuff.
There you go. Of course, you say that, and I just have a clip of a guy in a tie just doing something.
It probably sounds better if you listen. But.
It probably is. It probably is. Oh wait, there's a thumbs up. There's a little more action going on here. I don't know. I'm just pulling a random clip to see what it looked like. But yeah, that's the Planet Money on the TikTok side. Yeah, I'll keep an ear out for that. Now that's in my list. But awesome. So let's touch on another one before I throw another shout out. Hey, while we're talking about Zoom, speaking of, I think it was a little bit after the show last week, I saw this. Zoom announces a $599 touchscreen device for remote workers. I akin this to the I wondered what happened to those people not too long ago when Google Meet became a thing for business, because I do remember a Google Hangout specific device that they were trying to sell for enterprise like years ago, right? So that's what this kind of it reminds me of, right? So it's going to have, I think it was like 3 cameras, something like that, 27-inch touchscreen. It sits there on your desk. That's a big touchscreen, man. If you weren't self-conscious before.
Three webcams and 8 noise-reducing microphones.
Yeah. And I think it's supposed to pull in some productivity things to it as well, but I wasn't clear on where those were coming from.
Yeah, you can kind of hook it up to phone and it can display your calendar. Part of me wonders, I was pretty impressed with some of the stuff, or at least that they're talking about, where, you know, you can remote configure them. So I drop ship it to you. When you take it out of the box, it's ready to go. You log in and it has all your corporate settings.
Or if you're doing if you're doing like a Zoom show, right? Like it doesn't matter what computer you have. Let me send you this device and everything's ready to go.
So I thought about it in 2 ways. The Zoom show, right? You're on my, or you're going to talk on my panel or at my directors meeting, whatever. Or part of me wonders, based on the number of, and I can't believe I'm seeing these, but the number of portals I've seen
Facebook portals.
Facebook portals, the number of Facebook portals I have family and friends purchasing, and the number of, hey, I'm really thinking about, you know, the Google type device with the camera, or the Amazon Alexa type device with the camera and screen. For me, it's at $5.99. Go buy yourself, you know, a nice iPad or whatever,
or a computer.
And you have a ton of stuff, right? But
yeah,
but you don't. But what you don't have is, you don't have 3 video cameras, and you don't have really good microphones on that device. And we invest a lot of time, money, and effort making our audio and video try to look good. This is trying to do it out of the box. I'm wondering if this isn't just a play. Let's play to the enterprise first, but can we get these in people's homes as the replacement? Could I replace my in-laws' home phones with one of these?
I still think it. I mean, enterprise is where the money's at for them, right? I mean, this is all like we're all using it, but the whole point is it starts getting integrated and there's more subscriptions, right? Like this is just kind of a tool to push that.
Yeah, but I also question in the back of my head, for most of us that have been shipped home or are staying home, I know people that are working from their kitchen counter. I know people that are working from a very small workspace in a second bedroom, or, you know, dining room table, and they're already crunched for space with a 15-inch laptop. Now you're jamming a 27-inch screen purpose built for Zoom. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this really fits for business only purposes.
Where it actually is like the smart boards I've only seen in a couple of situations. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Well, guys, I want to give a shout. Hey, we got a lot of stuff going on here, and at Sidekick Media Services, also housed here in Sorgatron Media in the Beachview neighborhood. Let's be the sidekick in your superhero project. A lot of stuff still in the works. Working with a lot of our clients in the sports space, still working with a lot of our clients to figure out that next step, and still evolving situation with working from home, with events being done a different way, into church installations, which we'll be doing now that I'm not in quarantine very soon now. So doing a lot of that work here at Sidekick Media Services. Let us be the sidekick in your superhero project. Check out more at sidekickmediaservices.com and check out our social media. We have a lot of stuff, including the last music video we did with Nick Iben, a lot of them that we've done with him, a lot of creative work, a lot of podcast work, and looking forward to a lot of cool projects here coming up. So go check that out. Okay, Chilla, I want to talk about video games for just a moment. Because there's some big news, because we were pontificating what was going to happen with XCloud, I think just last week on the show, right?
So last week I wasn't here, so
That's
I
right.
apologize. I did
Maybe
not
it was
get
2 weeks ago when Kraus was
2 weeks
here.
ago when Kraus was on. Yes,
That's
we
right.
did.
That makes
we were
sense.
kind of speculating and throwing some ideas around.
Turns out it was announced that Phil Spencer with Xbox announced that XCloud will be a part of the Game Pass Ultimate, and I believe you also included a story about how the 1 year live subscriptions are going to come to an end, which is how I used to do my gold for the longest time. But now that's going to just all boil down to a $15 a month subscription. Dude, that makes so much sense, throwing in the cloud, and they're looking to maybe at some point, speculation, maybe you can pay like $5, $10 and you'll get just the cloud, perhaps. But it's of course running on Microsoft Azure, which even Sony PlayStation is running on. I mean, it's the other thing. If it's not running on AWS, it seems to be running on Microsoft Azure at this point on a corporate level, right?
Yeah, where I'm interested in, I've heard some additional rumblings on other sites to say, because they've stopped producing the Xboxes, they've stopped selling 12-month subscriptions of Live.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna, and then to your point, XCloud will be bundled with Game Pass. Will we see? And I think this is far-fetched, but I've seen it now in a couple of high-profile tweets and posts. Will we see a multiplayer, a free tier? But I'm questioning, will the free tier be a further distance from Game Pass?
So you're talking about like the multiplayer, because part of gold was you had to pay to basically play multiplayer games like Call of Duty and Halo, right? With each other. So that was the big when they started throwing in like 5 games a month between Xbox One and 360 and those kinds of things, which really, I mean, that's why I've been on board for it for so long. Just collecting those games, right? Hell, I just started playing Watch Dogs that I don't even know how long I've had it in my collection over the weekend, because Assassin's Creed was frustrating me. But it's no, I think it's that evolution, and I'm really excited to see how that looks. What happens when it comes out? Will the streaming idea be part of my console to give me higher end graphics on my first gen Xbox One or my PC or my iPhone? Like, is that all going to roll out in September? Because man, if I can just pull up like my Halo Assassin's Creed game, and will the xCloud include all my bought games digitally as well? So it will be another question that goes along with that, because that's something that does not happen currently. xCloud just kind of gives you a stack of games that aren't even the same stack of games entirely that's on Game Pass, but if it's like Mortal Kombat that I already own, I have all my save games and it works. So I don't know. We'll see what that system looks like here. And then how does that compare to, but we also want you to drop $400 on this big console over here. And then there's rumors about we're going to have a not 4K console that's going to be a little cheaper, which is great. I don't feel pressure to upgrade to 4K TV because it's literally the only reason I probably would at this point. So it's interesting. Cynthia, I don't know if you're following the technology around the new console generation or cloud gaming or anything like this.
So I'm still happy with my little PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Gave my Xbox One to my brother Jude, who was lingering on some other things. So our system in my family is that I acquire the new console and I hand them down. So, but I have to, usually it's a particular game or situation that's going to lure me into buying a new thing. And I resist for as many days as I can manage, and then I give in. So, but I'm not, this is a world where I'm not on the bleeding edge at all.
Yeah.
I do like to kind of watch what's going on, and, you know, and there's plenty of games to play. So like, how do you convince someone who's like me that it's worthwhile to upgrade? And so to your point about the fancier television, like I don't also want to buy a fancy television, you know, I have other things. I've got to go now and like outfit my backyard with lighting that I can talk to, you know, or something. So, I mean, there's only so many things you can spend your money on. And yet, you know, I'm as tempted by anybody else. If I can see some fantastic game, I don't know how good of an ad can they make. Well,
what do you think about this? So being that, like, you know, kind of that more casual, you know, system or like that, how do you feel about like something like an XCloud or, you know, where you pay like a Netflix, say $15 a month, and then like you literally can play this batch of games and don't even need to do it on the highest end hardware because that's all happening remotely? Like, does that kind of open things up to kind of observe that in a different way for you?
I mean, I feel like it is. It's appealing to me, but you got to remember that I'm also not a group gaming person. And this is partly due to being female and not really wanting to deal with the stuff. You know, like I don't need to keep up. I can't drive fast. I don't shoot well. Like I like to solve puzzles. All of those games are ones that I can acquire for like, you know, massive discounts.
Well, let me clarify, because we were talking about, I know we were talking about the online with gold, but the Game Pass is like you get like 100 games a month and they cycle some of them through. Yeah. Like that's just yeah.
I do understand. Thanks. That's a really important point to make, though. But I, even still, I mean, I really only spend so many hours. I've got a lot of YouTube to watch, man. I mean, I've got my subscription to Acorn and Hulu and BritBox. There's a lot of old British television that's still out there that I've only seen 2 or 3 times. Gotta watch it again. I'm just saying, there's so much consumption I can do.
Yes.
So there's that.
Well, we'll see what's going on with that, and you know, whatever it is, I'm having on Game Pass, and it's just going to get thrown in there. So we'll get some first hands on with that when that rolls out.
You're probably going to just be sharing so many great things. I'm going to be persuaded, so I'm going to have to like. We'll
talk her into it.
No.
We got to make sure we like whatever. And Cynthia, this is why you need to get this. We're talking to you out in the audience here. We'll have you back in September trying to talk you back into Game Pass. Speaking of games, I thought it was telling when Flight Simulator came out this week, I think. And if you're a physical media person, it comes on 10 DVDs for the entire game. So thank you for that visual, Microsoft. Like Microsoft is the ultimate legacy company, isn't it? To the point where, listen, we got this new flight simulator. It's going to take advantage of all this hardware on your computer, but we're not going to make you download it if you don't need to. Here's 10 DVDs worth. Not even Blu-rays, because Blu-rays aren't prominent in every, if you even have DVD players, disc players, and anything. So also, if you have a disc in your computer, it's probably not a Blu-ray, right? If it's that old. So, but that was kind of an interesting one.
Well, so how does this work though? I mean, is it like the old floppy disk world where like you put them in one by one and they all get loaded into memory and assembled into a thing, or is it more like I've seen some of the footage of that simulator. It's amazing, but it's kind of like, okay, you want to go in snow, you need disc 8. Like, how does that work? Do you know?
I think it's just an install. I can't imagine. I don't think any of these are running off of disks at this point at all. Like it's let's see. So and it's not even Microsoft's not even distributing this. They licensed that. They hired out a simulation specialist, Aerosoft, to distribute physical copies of the game in Europe. And okay, Europe, okay. And it weighs in at a mere, I say mere because I've seen some of the downloads on Xbox One, 90 gigabytes.
Holy moly. I mean, it's almost like you just think that they should just send you like a a hard drive of some sort that somehow plugs in, right?
Or a Blu-ray,
and then you
a Blu-ray at this point.
Yeah, but does everyone have Blu-ray players?
That's the point. That's the point.
I mean, I would say I could see like an SD card.
Yeah, an SD card, an SD card, a thumb drive, something of the sort. So, but
it does remind me though of like the Pixies, recently put out a new LP. Mm-hmm. Remember LPs on red vinyl, and so the red vinyl is kind of great. And frankly, I'm planning to get it and hang it on the wall here. But it's kind of like that. It's like purposefully retro.
Yeah, like yeah, it's like more you should display it on your wall kind of situation at that point. What's this menagerie of DVDs? Well, that's Flight Simulator. I think that's a good point to wrap it here. Cynthia Closkey, thank you so much for joining us again on the show.
I'm charmed to be here. Always glad to be invited and have even more fun every time.
Of course, you said that you guys are hiring over at Shift Collaborative. Any other projects or anything else exciting we should be looking out for from you?
Well, every Friday, since the sort of shutdown's going on, and we know a lot of businesses are under a lot of stress, so every Friday at noon, from noon to 1, over on the YouTube, we have a little live stream where we can answer questions, or we just kind of riff on advertising and marketing topics of the day. But we're happy to have people drop in, watch it later, or send us questions like your marketing conundrums. How do I survive this time? We're happy to help.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
And of course, John Chilla at Chilla on Twitter.
John's Chilla on the Facebook. It's good to be back. Hopefully I'll be back again next week.
There you go. And of course, please, again, everybody, please go check out our friends PB Smooth, Derek Direction on their respective Instagrams. I believe it's going to be an Instagram live that will be happening over on Thursday night, and I think it's going to be kicking off at 6 p.m. if I recall, and that's their air bike for dudders. It's going to be going on, so if nothing, it will be entertaining to just watch a couple dudes just die on air bikes. So thank you and thank you to Eric Ryan also and Jack Pollock that did the art and the distribution and making the shirts respectively. Some really good work. Shouts to Jack Pollock. Follow him, J Paul's Beard on Twitter. He does a lot of great artwork, and he's actually looking. He does some work for hire illustrations. So hit him up. So I'm going to give him a shout too because he does just phenomenal stuff, not just wrestling T-shirts. He's done some other projects too. Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. All right, Shatters, I got to hop on here because I got some other business that wants me to call them. And we'll be back for the Wrestling Mayhem show. Ronnie Starks will be back. And I believe we're going to have Alex from the West Coast hopping in as well.